Hey everyone, today I'm gonna give you a quick update on my treasure reef as well as a few modifications to the sump that I did. But first of all, I want to say that it's been about 10 days since I've taken the Marine Pure out, and I have not really been checking my nitrates just yet, but I'm keeping an eye on all of the corals, and I'm not seeing any differences just yet. So I think it'll be safe to draw some conclusions maybe towards the end of the month. But having said that, I've moved all the Marine Pure blocks to another aquarium, so at some point I may do an ICP test, because a lot of you did call me out on this one. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Marine Pure is the cause, but I've read a lot of threads on the subject, as well as I know a few people that have acted similarly. So this is a lot more anecdotal. This is definitely not scientific. Now, I also want to say thank you to quite a few people that have sent me an email about Aquatic Log recently, and I really appreciate a few of the sponsors that basically have sent me a little bit of money to that I'm going to be putting back into this reef, or coffee. So one of the two. So really appreciate it, and this is what keeps both this channel and the website and a lot of other things going. This is my passion, but not taking the money out of the family budget is very helpful. Now, let's talk about the sump. So last time I had mentioned that I've made a modification to the Waterbox aquarium, and I'm really happy with it. So this is the 190.5 Pro model, and it does come with a fairly large sump, but a good chunk of it is has been empty because this is where they want you to put your auto top-off system. So this will be a reservoir for water. Now, in my case, see, this tank is doing some sounds, and you never know. So in my case, I used this just to store some dry goods, a cleaning brush and a few other things. And I did it for about 6 months, but it has always been bugging me. I had a few ideas. One big idea that I had, and I didn't go through with this one, was I was thinking of putting a really old school deep sand bed in there. Like, it's very high, it's probably at least 20 inches tall, this reservoir. So I was thinking of doing like 10-12 inches of sand, and let it just load up with critters, and just do something that would maybe aid with the overall biological diversity of the tank. Now, I thought a little bit more about it, and looks like the deep sand beds are definitely not in vogue as of late, so I did something different. So I ran a line from the manifold into this chamber, and I just ran it with a tee off from the main return pump, so that there's always a trickle of water that runs through that chamber. So this chamber, if I were to guess, I think it's maybe 8 gallons all in, and what I'm using it for is basically a continuous water circulation chamber, and it takes about, I would say, 15 minutes to fully fill up from that tee off, and I plan to use this for quite a few different in quite a few different ways. So one of them will be if I want to raise the salinity, or maybe even lower the salinity, I can play around with this chamber, and I can dump actually some salt in there. I have a little pump running in that chamber, so it'll just dissolve, and I can easily raise the salinity of my tank without doing anything harsh on the corals. And as a matter of fact, I'm doing it right now. So far it's been working great. One other thing that I was thinking of doing is dosing, let's say, either amino acids. So instead of just dumping everything or doing a doser, I can just put a bunch of aminos in there, and let's say if I calculate that it takes about 24 hours for all of the water to change at 100%, so that gives me 24 hours where all of those amino acids can be gradually added to the tank. And I can do the same thing for coral feeding. So basically the next thing, and I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to wait until the end of the month before I kind of figure out whether taking marine pure out made any difference. What I will do is I'll start putting polyplab reefroids into that chamber and just have it always circulating throughout the tank. So I can dose a lot more and throw it in there. And I want to try some other coral foods and just make it a little bit more even throughout the day in terms of the distribution. Or I can do it at night. So that's a big change. I also think that it adds a fair bit of volume to the tank, which never hurts. And the way I kind of laid it out, I think the potential for any overflow is very low, because even if that little hole gets stuck, the water will just start dripping over, and I could potentially add a little sensor in there to notify me of that, but I've been keeping an eye on it. It's really just a trickle, so I don't think that's a very big issue. So that's the big modification. I'm really excited about it, and I think this will improve the tank stability as well as coral health even further. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this setup. I'm glad I didn't have to make any holes, didn't have to add any additional equipment to the tank just to do this. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm curious to find out what you think. So thank you for watching, and until next time.